What is up, everyone? We are live for Title Tuesday. I've late joined. Unfortunately, I just missed being paired for round one, but we're going to get paired for round two. We're back from Menorca, and we're going to play lots and lots of gambits. Let's go. While here, let's drop the link. Late joined. Oops. But we should be paired for round two imminently. I like that the live link now on YouTube just makes you actually, you don't need to click twice from it. What's up, Wizarding Story? How's it going? This should be in good. Yeah, well formatted, yeah. See, this is strong. We've got Hikaru, Magnus, Fabi, Wesley So, Hans, Naroditsky, etc., etc. 522 players in the early window. I remember when it was a lot smaller than that. The other thing chess.com did, and I actually didn't even do this, was they made my NM title into an FM title. I mean, I did do this when I achieved the FM title nearly 4 years ago now. But, actually, it's not even 3.5. I didn't register it. They also put my name here, and I can't edit that. Let me actually pop out the Twitch chat so I can see that as well. Pop that out. Okay. Oh, okay. We got our next game here. Let's go. We were playing a WIM from Greece. D4, knife 6. C4. Let's play A6. Let's play our Grafe Banco Gambit. Tricky, tricky stuff. A4. So she sees my idea of B5 and will stop that forever. And if I do this, they're in business. But I'm just going to switch it up and try to take advantage of this B4 square that I can just chill on. I guess bishop D2 would be the response, right? She doesn't have to play knight C3. Excuse me. So do I play by that logic D5 then? Or knight C6, E4, and then E5 is also... This to me seems, well... Alright, let's start with D5. So F3, trying to play E4. B3 played. I think at this point we should get out of here, yeah? Or C5 seems like a strong continuation. Really making this F3 move look stupid. We'll continue to play some normal chess. Hard now to develop this, right? Because bishop D3, maybe I would take D4 and win it. It's a lot of pawn moves. It's a lot of pawn moves. Let's take it, and now we're going to hang out on this square. So they played A4, they can never play A3. And yeah, I think that was maybe the only reasonable continuation. I guess C5 is what she wants to play, so should I take it? And bishop takes. I come back bishop C5 in that position even. No, but okay. If C5, I have breaks such as E5 and B6 to try and get towards this king. So we're just going to castle. But yeah, takes and bishop C5 using this pin. It's an option. I think E5 is even stronger than B6, although both are tempting breakthroughs. Let's play this with E5. Okay, takes. Takes comes with check. That's very, very nice. I think we're in pretty good business here. This is not Not good development or king safety for this poor white king. I think we're going to keep it simple with rook e8. Knight takes e5 is probably playable, but we're going to, like I said, keep it simple, keep bringing piece into the game. Okay, knight is not under attack, but I might want to jump in here regardless. Queen b6 also tempting. But this is extremely strong. Knight e4 and queen b6 are both very good moves. In fact, both should maybe prompt resignation quite soon. Threatening to take this knight and also go check and queen e3. But yeah, we're really firing on all cylinders here with all our pieces, which all developed into the game quite nicely. And in fact, this is checkmate. King on c2, knight on b4. Oh, well, you just went there. GG. Alright, so we beat a titled player here. With the Grafbanko Gambit, they went out of their way to dodge it, but we just kept up the pressure. I think this was a pretty nice example. Let's have a look. Let's have a look and also tell you what I mean by those checkmating patterns. Hello, what's my rating? My rating on chess.com is now 2632. My rating in FIDE is low 2200s. We've dropped a bit. Let's have a look at this game. Three e5. Okay, wait, that is interesting. So, okay, so we have a Grafbanko Gambit, and the point of a6 is that if knight c3 or something usual like this, we play c5 and then b5, threatening to pester this knight with the move b4. And otherwise, okay, this is a gambit, it gets taken, but we have excellent play in the center. There's a lot of ways why it can go wrong. d6 is a bad move, takes a knight d6 check is a bad move. Otherwise, okay, we can take the center and really grab a lot of compensation and attack the enemy pieces as they develop. My opponent plays a4, which would be a very good move if this were the position already, and then I played a6. In fact, this is why I did not make the Grafbanko in this move order, is because knight c3, okay, we're in business with b5, but a4 here shuts down b5 forever, and this should be really just transposing into a Benoni after e6 and just trading on d5. So I played here a6, but my opponent plays a4, but I don't have to play c5, d5 now. Now I'm going to take advantage of this square, and I see the comment from Mr. Cruciferous that e5 takes and knight e4, so this is a Fajorovitz gambit, except with these moves included, and I'm starting to see the benefit. The bishop on b4 now sits pretty excellently, right? Like here, check. Right, we're really taking advantage of the fact the bishop can never be kicked out. So if, for example, something like knight d2, okay, you can just play around this pawn, like d6. Takes here. This is excellent for black because I don't know how you get out of this bind if you're white. If you had a3, then, okay, it's a different story. The bishop is hit, and then all these trades are happening, the knights, and then maybe even the queens. But with the bishop just staying here forever, white is just stuck. So this is a really nice way to take advantage of that, and I like that a lot. And it's a shame I didn't play this move, e5. So a big plus in the Fajorovitz gambit with an knight on e4 and bishop on b4 just staying there forever. In the game I just played, okay, this move e6, and so it's just like a normal kind of queen's pawn start, except with a4 included. So how do we take advantage of that? My opponent playing f3 here, trying to play e4, and yeah, my opponent probably should have developed their pieces a little sooner than they did in the game. So just d5, stopping e4. And, okay, the usual setup that they can go with is, I think, as I understand it, just kind of like trading here at some moment, playing e3, oops, knight e4, playing e3, bishop d3, bishop d2, knight c3, knight e2, and castles, and then eventually, once their king is here, okay, then you can start playing for e4. And the bishop, which looks very bad, actually keeps the e3 pawn solid in the meantime, in spite of this pawn not being there to defend his friend. On f3 and e3, they can control a lot of squares. Eventually, once you're castled, you can start playing for e4. It's very risky to try to make that right away. So b3, a little bit of a strange move to defend c4, when probably e3 should be played. And now just c5. So we're really just striking at the center. And in fact, in general, you know, when you see this kind of like f3 charge up, like this structure where like you got two pawns kind of a knight's distance away from that one, you see it kind of in a lot of different setups, like with e4 and c3 trying to make d4 happen. What you want to do is hit at that pawn with c5. Hit at the one pawn that is in the middle with c5, because they're not well equipped to deal with that. And if they're not getting an e4, then this pawn is just very, very stupid here. So we're already making sure they're not going to get their brilliant center. And in fact, they're already struggling to castle, and this position is -2. So in the game, e3, solid move, knight c6, bishop b2, trying to defend this, but now with the bishop going to b2 and not on d2, it's a perfect moment for me to just trade and check on b4, and in fact, I get that bishop out in one move, and all my pieces really have just developed pretty nicely since this has started. King f2. It's hard to recommend something else. I mean, okay, the knight comes out, but then I can also, at some moment, just take on c4 and take on d4, and it's not like they're close to being able to castle anyway. So king on f2, okay, maybe he can be safe there. And c5, I understand the logic, trying to shut down the position and prevent another trade in the middle of the board where their king is, whereas my king is now safe and sound. But I can just crack it open. So b6, e5, even queen e7 to prepare one of those are all good moves. But e5 here makes the most sense, and takes, and bishop takes c5 comes with check very nicely. King e1 and rook e8, just simple stuff. I have not actually sacrificed anything this game or really done anything crazy. We've just moved all our pieces out into nice squares. I haven't moved my pieces twice even. Rook e8 now pinning this pawn. f4 had to be played to defend that, and now queen b6, just continuing. When in doubt, just bring out another piece. Knight e4, yeah, was also -6, like queen b6. Okay, we're attacking, threatening to just take the knight. The knight moves out of the way, but now this becomes checkmate because the queen can pour into e3. King d2 just delays checkmate by one move, as knight b4 ends in mate, owing to the fact that they played a4 and can never play a3 to control this square. Okay, or even bishop f5 and lots of things. So this is pretty nice opening victory in Title Tuesday. Yeah, I think this line has been cooking for me. It has indeed been cooking for me. I just got back to New York. Excuse me. Yes, I just got back to New York. Yeah, I missed the first game. I did. I joined at 11. But too late within 11. My bad. But it allowed me to set up the stream for you guys. So, yeah, I was in Menorca at the Menorca Open. It was a very fun tournament. Like, really gorgeous location. We stayed at an all-inclusive resort. It was so much fun. I'll be breaking down recaps of those games. It was a pretty up and down tournament for me. All in all, it went all right. It included me having a -3 position against Samuel Shanklin, former U.S. champion. I probably would have said more if I converted that position, of course. But I'm not lying. All right, we're playing a National Master from Argentina. So it's got everyone's names now. C6. I actually faced a lot of Caro-Cons in Menorca. A lot, too. But here's the Von Hennig Gambit. My opponent immediately blitzing out. I mean, I'm sure they expected this. Alright, let's just play f3. See if they want it now. I think with their move order, though, can they play e5? What would I do? What would I do? Because that pawn trade gives them maybe bishop c5 to follow. For example, if I just take. But okay, queen takes d4. If they move the bishop, they would lose g7, right? Okay, they accept it. Gambit glasses on. Von Hennig on the board, baby. On the board already. Knight g5 forces e6, and interesting sacrifices are in tow. They are in tow. In fact, are they? How in tow are they? Takes. F takes, knight takes. Queen e7 castles. Interesting. Should I do that? Is there a reason I shouldn't do that? Should I just play like a normal Von Hennig? Knight g5, e6. Bishop e6. If they start with queen e7. I'll just play castles, fe6 and 86. How much am I sacrificing there? Alright, let's just castle normally, though. 6 queen 1. Knight b6, bishop back to d3. Gambit glasses are on, baby. Let's just play king h1, which is always a useful move. If black is very smart, they'll try to arrange a long castle. But, alas, here comes our favorite attacking idea. And in fact, they encouraged me with knight b6 to bring the bishop back to d3. I was doing it anyway. We take advantage of the fact that our pawn is not on f2. Okay, we want to be smart here. I think queen takes d5 helps them? I don't think it does even. Alright, well, let's just play... Bishop g5 is strong, knight e5 is strong. Yeah, in fact, this position is probably completely winning. Knight e5, I guess knight b4 is a good move. Okay, let's take it. No! Don't do that! I wanted to demonstrate some good ideas. What? I was here calculating all the different recaptures on d5. It didn't occur to me that they might take with the knight. No, you needed that. Oh, man. Okay. What? Okay. No offense, but I just got back from, like, 2 weeks of playing titled players abroad, and they were much better than this. The first 2 games here. Okay. What? Why couldn't they have played like this in my FIDE-rated games? Come on. Okay. d5 knight c3 takes bishop c4. We have a von Henning gambit. And the point of the von Henning gambit... the point of the von Henning gambit is that we're playing against this bishop. We are playing against the development of this bishop, and as you see, when they're not able to develop it, they get checkmated, right? Okay, knight d7 was blitzed out very quickly, which allows me to take back this pawn. I assume they just were expecting this position. Okay, but I'm not taking back the pawn. We put on the gambit glasses instead with bishop to c4. Very quick checkmate came in here. So if knight f6, f3, this would have transposed to the game, which is what we got here. Knight d7, I played your f3. Did it give them an opportunity? Yeah, okay, they actually had an option for e5 here. Had an option for e5. Right, because takes, knight takes, bishop f7 to win the queen. They actually have knight takes f7. They don't have to take with the king, so they're fine. This is fine for them, apparently. So, what would I play here? I thought maybe this. Okay, but they don't have to take it. This is a good move. Okay. In the game, I can go here. d4 is not a good move. Because, yeah, now we're playing against the development of this bishop, and the queen can't really be hit. So I would just, yeah, knight takes e4 seems good. Okay, knight f6. It's a hard move to play. Yeah, it looks like you might have some issues here. And if just develop. Okay, we can go here and trade queens. Okay, knight takes e4 next time. Although it kind of defeats the purpose of f3. But with e5, it changes the position a little bit. And Caro players aren't really chomping at the bit to play e5. It's not really a main idea for them. So, yeah, my chat is equally surprised here, too, that they blundered checkmate, which is kind of really funny. E takes f3, knight takes f3, played in the game, and so knight f6. And I'll be clear, if they did it in this move order, okay, they have options to... Oops, well, that's a way to decline the gambit. They have options to develop the bishop. Bishop f5 being, you know, the main move here where we play knight g5. We try to take here and take here in some order, which would win material, so they got to come out the way, and it opens up the door for this nice sacrifice of landing the knight here, which there's more theory. But this is really fun stuff. I've had this position tons and tons of times, because black has actually played all the best moves, according to Stockfish, but scores really poorly against me and in general in this line. But yeah, the bishop needs to be on this diagonal to stop sacrifice on e6, but we chase it off. Otherwise, bishop g4, okay, we can give the queen in exchange for the king. Here, attacking the bishop and f7. Okay, in the game, we just really transpose back into this. Knight f6, castles e6, queen e1. So we're actually, we don't have this pawn. We don't have this pawn, but we're really using that very effectively. We're using both the rook and the queen's path as a result of not having this guy, right? So you can see here, we start with queen e1, which is, okay, already intimidating if your king is in the middle. I do also want to check, by the way, I was curious about this move, knight g5, e6, and bishop takes e6. Okay, f takes, knight takes, what was the issue? Here, castles. Oh, just knight b6. Okay, yeah, here I thought, okay, they can give the queen and it would be interesting. Knight b6 is a very good move, defends c7 and opens up this attack. So, okay, we can't keep the bishop there. Unlike in the other line where they don't have a light square bishop to attack on e6. Okay, in the game, castles e6, queen e1, knight b6 played, which defends e6, but the bishop is rerouting to d3 anyway, and they really are doing exactly what I want here. Bishop e7, king h1 is always a useful move, and in fact was the engine's recommendation. King h1, yeah, getting off that diagonal, especially if you don't have pawn f2, good idea in chess in general. You don't want like c5, bishop takes c5, or queen takes d4, or any of that stuff to come with check. So always a useful move. And then they castle right into this. And after queen h4, they're already effectively losing here. Because this knight is the only thing standing between them and checkmate. Not that they realize that, but the knight needs to be there. And it's hard to relieve that for the knight. So if you play h6, I have another bishop, not just this one, but another bishop, and I can just take on h6 and checkmate you very quickly. Just coming to h7, or rook coming around, for instance. And there's really nothing you can do about that to add more resources over here. Yeah, they need this bishop on this diagonal, right, to shield here. Otherwise, this bishop is locked out of the game, and I toast them on this diagonal. In the game here, knight d5, and because I didn't want the knight coming to b4 in any line and getting rid of my prized bishop, which is tying them down and giving all the checkmate ideas, I took on d5. And okay, they have 3 options to take back. Not really 4, because this is what happened in the game. But all I need to do is put pressure on this knight. So for example, let's just say like e takes d5 or something like this, as the engine recommended. Now I play something like bishop g5, trying to take on f6, and checkmate them on h7, right? So if h6, again, I can probably take here. But with the pawn on d5, they actually have this move. Interesting. And I can't even step onto the g line for a pin. I don't have access to those squares with my queen under attack. And e4 is importantly useful other than any other square, because, or else I could just come back here and control it. But it also blocks off access to h7, so this position isn't even checkmate. Interesting. I was also, because they have an 84 now. So take on d5 was not a good idea, because I gave them this resource, an 84, which allowed them to move the knight without getting checkmated, which never really happens in this line. Otherwise, typically I could just go queen takes e4. Yeah, I was really expecting like queen takes d5, yeah, an 85 now, threatening rook takes f6 is the point. Again, we remove that pawn, we threaten rook takes f6, okay, we force g6 to happen in some moment, and then we can just eat that knight as soon as we do that. So the best move here was just with bishop to g5. So knight b4 doesn't work because I can just take d3, and take e7. Right, so that's why not knight e5. Because knight b4, now threatening the bishop, now takes d3. It's different when there's a rook there, not a bishop. Much better right now to have a bishop there. Right, they can never recapture immediately, because I would otherwise take on h7 if I still had the light square bishop. And all these lines is good. There's no queen takes d4 nonsense or any of that with check. So knight e5 was... So bishop g5 should have been played for that reason. So knight b4 is not a resource. Now after g6, now I can trade. Okay. Interesting stuff. But yeah, I mean, in general in these lines, right, you can imagine, let's say they played knight d7, which makes sense to try and reinforce the defense here. But now all we're doing is, again, we're forcing their hand in terms of, you know, you're going to have to play g6. Because I can here play, like, knight takes d7 and rook takes f6. I can add more with bishop g5 if I need to. And just remove a knight from f6 as a result of this really, really nice attacking setup that white has in these lines. So, yeah, pawn and a gambit. Kills. Kills, kills, kills. What do I play in the knight c3 Bushcast gambit if he takes the pawn and goes back to f3 after knight c6? e45, knight f3, bishop c5. Here, I'll put this on the board. e45, knight f3, bishop c5. Knight c3, knight f6, knight takes e5, knight c6, knight f3. Okay, so after knight c3, I mean, okay, already, like, you could just play d6 or knight c6, right? So, you know, this is already kind of a declined version of the gambit. If you do need to play d6, that's not the end of the world. You can just play. Okay, but let me look at that position after. Alright. We are playing a 2889 FM. And another Von Hennig. And another Von Hennig. Alright, maybe this will be different than last one. Maybe. Maybe I'll checkmate them again very quickly. Let's go. Gambit class is on. We've played the Von Hennig Gambit, and our opponent, in spite of how good they are, has never seen it before, because why would you have? Other than the fact that it's so good. E3, they declined it. They have declined it. Alright. Alas. Alas. Let's play this with knight e2. Okay, let's go g4. And, well, should I play h4? Let's play this with knight f4. So my idea here with knight f4, yeah, I think they're ready to play bishop takes in this position if need be, right? Okay, queen d2. Well, so h4, I guess takes, knight d5. Or takes, h5 rather. Okay, let's play queen d2. Alright, let's go for this. I think now they have to take it. Because they don't want to move this h-pawn. Yes, this is what I was expecting. I was going to castle here and offer this pawn. Just thinking about that. Okay, let's do it. See if they want this. It takes. They do not. Bishop e2 or d3? Maybe just here is best. Okay. I feel like I could have caused them some more problems. Again, g4 is available to them. Although I don't really think it is. Takes, knight takes. Oh, we go queen g3. G7 is a problem. I'd be very surprised if they took it. Right. Let's come in bishop e5. Seems to be annoying. Their king is still in the center. You've got to pick up the pace here a little bit. If they take there, can I take g7? Or g8, queen h7? Is that possible? No, I think that's a little too crazy. Alright, let's go back here. Alright, I wanted to induce f6. Yeah, that's good. Queen b3. Okay, let's just come back. Queen a3, knight c4. Alright, I have a funny idea. Let's just give them a2. And I want to play like b3 in that position. Just gonna give them a2. No, they didn't want it. But now here, right? This was my point. How do you defend? Oh, you have a6. Queen e7. Try to get there, but okay. I can just play this. So we'll play. I can't play b3. I would lose this. Oh no, wait. Queen e7 is a very strong move. I take e6. That's why. Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty smart. I'm pretty smart. Let's get right there. They're working in unison very nicely. I'm gonna just take e6 and I'm ahead of pawn. Or d7 forced. Clean pawn for William. No. 19 seconds. Queen pawn. Are they going to dodge this queen trade? Can they? Mayhaps. Queen g2. Okay, let's just trade it. I don't know. Not the most useful move, but it's fine. We'll just stack our rooks. Rook e4. Whoa, really? Okay. Rook e7. I've had smarter ideas. Oh my goodness, stupid. Which are they going to take, actually? The rook, if I had to guess. Nope. Damn. There's one I wish I could have had back. This is so hard for them. Surprised to see them struggle with this. Rook takes b3. No. Oh yeah, they can do that. Nice. Did I have any stalemate tricks here? Without my rook, it's stalemate, right? Oh well. I got forked there, but I had him. Played better, but we had no time. Okay. Takes e4, and my opponent played a very chicken variation of playing here e3, and you can see, you know, the eval swing in my favor as a result of this, according to the engine, of not accepting the pawn but playing e3. So he's very scared of this. After bishop takes e3, white's just a little bit better. They have here better development. And bishop f5, okay, it's a good move to get the bishop out, but what we're going to do is we're going to try and take advantage of the bishop's positioning, try and hit it with bishop g6 and a4. So the idea is, like, if they play something like, you can imagine, okay, something like here, I play h4, trying to trap the bishop with h5, now they're in a really tough situation, because they need to create a square for the bishop with something like h6 to store it on h7. Alas, my knight is hitting it immediately, and you can't play h6 and bishop h7 in one move. So as soon as you play h6, now I take it. Now there's no h takes g6 solid recapture. If the pawns are solid, even if it opens for the rook, you have to play f takes g6. This sucks. First of all, queen d3 hits g6 and forces like king f7. Also, this is hanging right away. Okay, queen d3 is actually even better, forcing king f7, right? So, you know, that's what we're trying to arrange. That's what we're threatening. So my opponent playing bishop d6 to try to give this bishop back with bishop takes f4. But, okay, they're kind of giving their best piece. Light square pawns, dark square bishop, and it gives me a pretty nice bishop pair. So that's kind of what happened in the game. Soon enough, I played here queen d2, preparing long castle. Where else is my king going to go? Knight d7 played, and now h4. So, yeah, trying to play h5 to trap the bishop. If they move this pawn, then I would take on g6. Again, right, not taking on g6 right away. H takes g6. It's pretty solid for black. They open here, and they're going to castle that way with their king. In the game h4, bishop takes f4 need to be played so that they can play h5 without having to deal with knight takes g6. And after h5, right, I'm not playing g5 here, which encourages them to do what they maybe want to play anyway with knight d5. I'm just playing castle, offering them this g4 pawn, right? It's not really something you can take. If knight takes g4, yeah, my rooks are going to shift over this way, hit this knight, try and play h5. g7 is going to hang. There are still several moves from castling, and white here is in business. So it's not what happened in the game. My opponent playing knight b6, hitting the bishop, bishop coming back to d3. Okay, all these were options, but this bishop's actually pretty good now that it's not going to be taken. And not really clear what my bishop's doing. It's pointing this way. So bishop d3, trading that off is a totally fine choice. Queen takes d4, not really possible. Oh, knight b5, what a move. Trying to play knight c7, hitting the queen. Otherwise, this is check. Winning the queen. So, knight c7 would win the rook. That's what I meant to say. So they took on d3. Queen takes d3, and knight d5. Attacking the bishop. And I play here now bishop e5, which is, I guess, not the best choice. Bishop g5, better. So the point is, okay, hits the queen, but we cut off their long castle. It's not like they're going to want to castle short into this firestorm, and they're really going to have to play f6 for real to undo that, after which, you know, queen g6 can come. Otherwise, they can't castle as long as the bishop sits there. And there's no h6, right? So bishop on g5 actually would have sat very nicely. Instead, I put on e5. After it takes, queen takes e3, but neither of us saw this nice continuation of h takes g4 and trying to play rook takes h4, I guess regardless of which one I take. So neither of us saw that. They play f6, and I just come back bishop g3, queen d5, so they're trying to arrange a long castle. And I like this move here, rook e1. I think it was a pretty practical decision on my part. Yeah, offering queen takes a2. Yeah, I was going to play like b3, but okay, king f7, and they can defend this according to the engine. I thought there would be a lot of pressure there if I cut this off. Engine wanted this, which I actually didn't even see. King f7, interesting position. Yeah, king can sit pretty safely on f7. I guess that didn't occur to either of us. So they castled. Now after queen a3, I think this should be pretty good for me. Just want to make sure I don't miss the next round. Okay, so this next round starting soon. Queen a3, hitting a7, which is a nice combo of the queen and bishop working together, actually. So the king can't step over to b8. I hit a7 here. a6, queen d7. We just slip inside. Threatening queen c7, rook d7, and I take here. Apparently this is even stronger. Really keeping up those threats. Anyway, queen takes e6. Apparently they can get away with this. I hit this? I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Well, it makes sense looking at it now. Anyway, it's just up a very clean pawn in this endgame. It was really one I should have won. But, okay, just not a lot of time on the clock. Yeah, c4, d5 is something I should have done right now. Defended this. This was maybe not the best choice. Rook e7, giving this. Just keeping up the pressure of maybe playing rook c7, pouring in. So I kind of threw away the edge here. Yes, c4, I mean, right now, so to make it a little tricky for them to get these pawns back, right? Knight b6, okay, d5, right? It's a vulnerable moment for them because they need to take these pawns. Here, rook e7, threatening this. Very strong stuff. Rook c7 would force king b8 right into that. So, in the game, what ended up happening, okay, now it's just equal because I gave that back, and it got worse for me as I missed knight d3 completely here. Well, so good job for my opponent, and eventually they win this, so of course this is winning. Okay, but I got that pawn. This should still be winning. Yeah. So they're able to eliminate this with just much more resources. So, okay, well done to them. Well done to them. I was able to win a pawn into the endgame out of my slightly better position in the von Hennig decline, but they certainly handled their time better than me, and okay, found this move, knight d3. GG. GG. Okay. Oh well. Get him next time. Have I been lifting weights? I have. I have. We've been on our chess boxing journey. Although, I will say, this is as strong as I am going to get, as strong as I want to get. I am very happy in my current weight class at about 155. But yes, this is about as lean and mean as you can get at about 155 pounds. So, thanks so much. But otherwise, it's just trying to be a better boxer. And in terms of my fitness, my athleticism, it's definitely a plus for me in the ring. I feel like I'm stronger and quicker and have longer reach than most people at my weight class. Which means if I ever lose a round, it's just that much of a skill issue for me. Because I already have, you know, I already have all the physical edges. Thank you. That's so nice of you to say. It helps with the pieces. You know, sometimes the pieces are really heavy. It's like I had a second puberty. I mean, okay. 6 months ago, I had the physique of a chess player. I was at about 130. So it's been about, 25 pounds of muscle. But we stopped there. I don't need any more muscle. My last body comp report came back at about 81% muscle and about 7.2% body fat. So that's it. Everything I do is for boxing. Everything I do is for boxing and to be the best chess boxer I can be. I am a chess player who picked up boxing, right? There are boxers who pick up chess. Which one do you think is worse to lose in? Which one do you think is worse to get crushed in? It motivates me. It motivates me. We want to be the chess boxing world champion. Does he read both YouTube and Twitch chat or just Twitch? I read both. My bad. The endgames, I think taking the rook would have been better, though. Knights are useless in the endgame. Yeah. Laser gambit. E4, E5. Knight of 3, knight C6, D4. Takes, knight takes D4. D5 out of the scotch. I could put this on the board. Okay, imagine we should get the next round soon. So this is for black. If you face a standard scotch, D5. So white here probably has a few moves. Maybe this. We're talking about this move. Check. And bishop d6. Interesting. I guess if you're white, you have a lot of options now, because when you include this move, queen takes d5 is possible if you just want to do this, right? Before it wasn't possible because this would win your queen. But now it's not check. Okay, yeah. I mean, interesting stuff to analyze more. But we have our next opponent, CM from Myanmar. I didn't know that flag. Okay, we could play it, but we're probably going to play a Bushcast Gambit. Probably. Let's put on those Gambit glasses. Let's go. Bishop c4? Okay, let me give you another opportunity to take it. What if... Ah, brutal. Brutal. Okay, what if I give you another opportunity to take it? It gets better every time. Okay, what about another opportunity? You're literally castled. Okay, here we go. I've gone in this exact position a handful of times, and the move I like here is knight c6. I have a couple videos here. Let's go. I got to keep these Gambit glasses on because I've managed to sacrifice a pawn. I tried really hard. Okay, take c6. Bishop f4. That's a good move. That is a good move, and shields actually my main idea, which is going to be to transfer this diagonal. And we might just be down a pawn for nothing. But that's fine. Been there before. Been there, done that. What can we do? So, anything, they're going to play d4, right? Pretty much anything. So let's start with bishop g4. There's no f3. It's not like the knight was going to do a ton there with the bishop shielding. I wanted to hear maybe rook e8. Trying to get in there, but they have... Okay, knight c3 they're going to play. So d4 now there is knight e4, right? So that could be annoying. Rook e8, knight c3, d4. Oh, we can cause some problems and then trying to play rook e2. This is also an annoying move. Okay, we got some ideas. let's play. Yeah, let's play with rook e8. I like this. Knight c3, d4. Knight a4, rook e2. It's probably not even as good as it looks. Yeah, it's probably not even as good as it looks. But it's not like I have a lot of ideas in this position. So let's do it. Knight a4. Bishop b4 is interesting last move, also, actually. And it's something I kind of regret not playing. Because a3, I could just come back. And then I was really... The point is I was threatening d4. If they played d4 themselves, then I had options for e2 and a4. But okay, I don't even think they saw this idea. Which is why they're thinking. Let's now come in rook e2. Queen needs to step back. But like I said, it's not as good as it looked, even. This guy is really in my way. Let's step back, bishop d6 probably. As much as I don't want to trade, it's not like I have a ton of options. Bishop d6 is fine. And queen recapture. Not that they need to take it. Queen takes d6 helps my position. In fact, that really develops for me. Yeah, so they play c3. Trying to cause some problems. You know, the light squares is the next place I'm looking. I like this idea. Maybe knight. We're just kind of spitballing here. Knight h5. Now my idea is like knight f4 and such. Oh yeah, that comes nicely. Knight takes e2 would win the queen. I didn't even calculate g3, but I assume we got something there. Oh, we're cooking. We're cooking. We're cooking. We're cooking now. Oh, threatening knight takes d3. Got some good ideas here. This is nice. Do I want to sacrifice? I think I do. I just don't really see how to make it work. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There's so many good moves here. Okay. Does this just win the game? Yes, it does. No. Queen takes a4. Bishop f3 then. Yes? 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 Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm a genius. Oh my goodness. What a move. Okay, if you take it, this is mate. If you take this, I win your queen. Which you might have to do. Because otherwise, my next move is... If you play g3 and h3. Queen c5, I play queen g6, threatening mate. g3, queen h3. Oh my god. Okay, you have to give your queen. I think. After which... Okay, no, wait, I have to take that. I would play an h3, but there's king h1. Yeah, you have to give your queen. Queen g6 just kills you. I don't see anything else. Oh my goodness. We didn't have the dark squares, so we did the light squares. I'll attack on one or the other. We will make the attack work. Takes knight takes e2, king h1. I think, actually, I have queen d5. Don't even take the queen, but play queen d5. They called me a man. Oh, was that really smart? Queen g6, g3, knight h3. I think we can checkmate this way. G6. If I take rook g2, okay, let's take this. Go here. I think. Queen c5. I have knight g5. Anything else? I just move this knight. There was a lot of appealing trickery there. I think this was the most principled. Yeah, we got him. G4, I would just play queen takes g4. Yeah, that was the best chance. But okay, I can come in here as well. Try and create, like, the square. Wow, wait, that was really good. That was really good. I think I have a perfect record in this ridiculous gambit. Where we just absolutely insist that you have to take this pawn on e5. And, wow, oh, question mark brilliant. Question mark is our number of brilliance. Okay, wait. I'm actually curious to figure out how many brilliance, because I think I maybe had a few. I maybe had a few. Guys, what a game. What a game. Okay, wait. I played black. Yeah, okay, there we go. What a game. Okay, let's have a look. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That was awesome. This is working in Title Tuesday. This is working Title Tuesday. So this was like the version of the Bush Gas Gambit where they absolutely insist they're not going to take the pawn and they just want a boring Italian position, right? Like here's their first option to take the pawn. Obviously, I get 2 question marks for bishop c5. Take, we play here knight c6, right? If they go knight f3, we have d5, which is a very fun line. Knight takes c6, d takes c6. We have our Stafford capture, opening the queen, opening the bishop. Lots and lots of fun lines here with ideas of f5, with ideas of knight f6, knight g4, with ideas of queen h4, attacking this, attacking here. All covered on my channel with d takes c6 and all this. What we're talking about right now is bishop c4, knight f6, and then again, their second option to take the pawn, which is even juicier than the first one, because knight takes e5 hits f7, right? So if you look at that even for a second, and you're like, okay, castles here, if you like even consider this for a second, you're like, wow, this should be amazing. d4, whole center, attacks the bishop, up a pawn, and more. You're going to castle and just be completely winning. Here, of course, we play knight c6. They do have the option to sort of transpose to the other line, after which, you know, we want to play knight g4, queen h4, and checkmate. Or they can take on f7, which is really fun. Bishop f7, we move our king, and then we get him. Or knight f7, we sacrifice back here, knight takes c4 check, queen out, and we get him. Okay, awesome lines there. It's like +3 according to the engine, but no one ever lives to tell the tale if they play that with white. But d3, they're like, no, I don't want any of that. Even castles invites this fun line with knight takes e4 and trying to sacrifice on f2, play e4, d5, and all that stuff. But, which is also covered. But they play your d3. They're like, none of that. We just want a boring Italian position that we're transposing to, as if this happened with e4, e5, knight f3, and knight c6, like normal stuff, defending the pawn, and then with bishop c4, and all that. So they play d3. They're like, no. But we're like, yes, you are going to take this pawn. So castles, we give them another opportunity to take on e5. They say no. They castle. And now they're really expecting knight c6 and us to actually defend the pawn, a move we probably should have played on move 2. But we kept having not done that. Now we play c6, and now it's like, okay, if you don't take this pawn, what are you doing, right? Because if you just continue la-di-da-di-da with c3, now d5, right? I never put a knight here. I never bothered to defend this. I shouldn't be able to get away with all that. Now I will take over, like, the whole center, and I'm just better. So you can't do that. Finally, they're like, okay, I'll take the pawn. I'll take the pawn, right? So they castle. They're totally safe. Not what could possibly happen, right? So we play your d5, takes, right? So if the bishop moves, then we just take twice on e4, and we're better. E takes d5, c takes d5, bishop back to b3, knight to c6. So here they take on c6, right? If knight f3 back, okay, we give this pin. Knight takes c6, pawn takes c6. So I've had this position now a few times. We have more than 0 compensation for the pawn, and it looks like we have 0. We don't have full compensation for the pawn, but it's actually trickier than it looks like, because your one developed piece is very bad, right? Pawn takes c6 made sure of that. It can never do anything, cause any problems attacking here. Oh no, I wanted to analyze that more. Okay, I'll get back to this, I promise. Stay tuned. Okay. Next game, let's go. 4c5, let's just play here. 6. This is a fun line. This is a fun line. Let's play rook e1 as I look at ideas of knight d5. Knight d5 looking tempting. Knight d5 takes, pawn takes d5. It might just be like straight up very good. There's tempting and then there's winning. There's tempting and then there's winning. And we might, because I could play your d4 first to prepare it. Okay, let me play a4. Alright, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. Oh, okay, they didn't want to take my knight. I'll give you another chance. I'll give you another chance. Take my knight. Take it. Take it. I put my rook there just for fun. Just for fun. There's nothing my rook is gonna do to you. There's nothing my rook's gonna do. Don't you worry. Oh, they took my knight. Okay. They really did. E5 is even interesting. Okay, let's not waste time here. Obviously, I'm doing this. Really? I'm very surprised. This position might be just winning right now if I find something. Okay, let's start it off with d6. No, they might be losing very quickly here. I'm not even sure that was best. I mean, I think like a lot of like these were all moves worth considering. Bishop g5, queen d6. That was maybe one of the worst. Well, no. Bishop e3, threatening queen b6, right? Provoking bishop d6 as a defensive resource to try and get there, and then bishop g5. That actually could have been correct. Okay, let's just look at the position at hand. Rook a7, just bishop e3. I mean, I think the way I play this is pretty simple. Also, rook a7. Lots of good ideas here. Bishop g5. This is like so close to being mate, but it's not. Queen c5. Okay, that's a draw. King d8. I mean, they should be torched here a number of ways. I think this is simplest. Queen takes d6, I would just take this. Oh, okay, I need to not lose my queen. I check here. Maybe swing the rook across. Okay, I'll just take this. Not excellent time management on my part. Could have maybe played for more. I guess I can a1 to trade. Dude is kind of annoying in my face right now. Potentially their king went too far under. We can come in. I mean, I don't think that's really true. But I'll give it a shot. Could I have taken it? I don't think so. Oh! Wait. No, I'm winning. Oh, no, wait. It's the wrong color pawn. Oh, no, wait. Now I'm winning. Haha! Oh, no! Wait. No, I wasn't winning. This isn't winning. Even if I take all the pawns, I'm the wrong color here. This means, what do I mean by wrong color? Okay, let's have a look at this. This is not winning. This was never... Well, this... What did I do wrong? Here, I could have... If I played it with bishop e2... Bishop e2 and h takes g4, then I could have a g-pawn. Alright, wait, this was an up and down game, but I definitely had him in the out of the opening. Something went wrong. Okay. This is a fun little setup that I had. Rook e1, right? So I've set up like this, and I can play d4 in one move if I want to, and they're setting up as if I played an open Sicilian, which I haven't. And so here, okay, a4 is a miss because I think it's just, knight d5 is just that good. But okay, knight d5. Very strong stuff, right? So if e takes, opening the rook here, ideas of d6 and taking that rook. Very strong. Knight can come to f5, right, because knight d4 is check. So if the bishop comes to e7 to block, that can be bad. So it forces king d8, after which there's a really nice attack here. And this comes up in a lot of Sicilians. So they play queen b8 to dodge it. Okay, I'm playing d4 here. I'm just opening the game more. Take. Now they take d5. So I should just be winning here. Takes king d8. Okay, a lot of moves win. I was talking about this. Bishop g5, trying to take here. Queen d6, c4. I missed this idea. Trying to play c5. Not obvious. Rook c1 now? I guess, I don't know. They should just be toasted. Even just a full piece down. Okay, d6 was the most reasonable, trying to take. Bishop b7. And this was a practical choice. So, okay, this still should be winning here. I mean, this ending is very strong. What was winning here? Takes, queen takes, bishop g5. That seems simple enough, and then I just take twice on f6. King c8 loses even faster, because then I can come to e8 without a knight there. So, yeah, I don't know why this didn't occur to me. Queen f3 and just mate. So, wow. Tough miss there. Queen takes d6. Okay, in the game, should still be winning. This would have trapped their rook. Rook a7, bishop b8. You gotta love how those bishops work together to just run that rook out of squares. The game here. Okay, just rook d3. I mean, all of this should be much better. I just didn't play great. Okay, and then I just allowed them to just trade everything here. But then, all equal. Traded rooks, even still all equal. Because, okay, if my king runs, then their king can also run, and we just each take all the pawns, right? Then they threw their knight all the way there. Okay, it's actually still drawn. The engine does not understand, actually, that this is a big difference. H takes g4. My bishop should be here to stop h5, maybe. But I think, yeah, the problem is this. They could play king g5 and g6 and h5 and just trade off all of the last pawn. There's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do about that. So, yeah, in the game, yeah, even if I eliminate these pawns, which I did, what I need is h4. No, but it's not winning. So the problem, right, you can imagine I just eat all this. This is what I mean by the wrong color bishop. If you have a rook pawn and a light square bishop actually does not... I have been kicked from the arena? What? Hang on. What's going on? Can you let me back in, please? I think chess.com admin kicked me from the arena because I got a message before saying turn on emote only mode on your chat, and I responded that I don't know how to do that on YouTube Live, but obviously I am not reading suggestions of moves. Are you serious? So I think they might have kicked me because I've been giving you guys free speech. Are you for real right now? Wow. Yeah, I am kicked from the arena. Unbelievable. I feel like somehow, I don't know, most Title Tuesdays I play, there's some issue. Either the interface doesn't make any sense and like you don't notice you have a game, or that it detects that you've logged off, or something like this where it was actually on purpose. Look, I'll show you. Thank you for choosing to stream Title Tuesday. Please make sure you are following our streamer rules for the event, which can be found here. Having a minimum 10-second stream delay. I feel like I have that, not intentionally. I don't know, actually. And emote-only chat during games are mandatory. It's like... I mean, if you're gonna cheat, streaming to do it is already not... It's a lot easier to just not stream and have a separate computer there recommending your moves, rather than reading delayed suggestions from chat. Has there even been one case of that happening? That's crazy. It wrote, not only did it kick me out, but in fact it said... Never had anything like this. You have been kicked. Please wait 30 minutes to reconnect. I have a 30-minute ban from chess.com right now, because I didn't turn on emote-only mode in the chat. Okay. Oh well. We're going to Elite Chess. We are going to Elite Chess. Come on. Are you for real right now? Okay, wait. I will analyze that. Yeah, let me get back to that other game later. Let's go. I want to play. Never dealt with any of this from Elite Chess. We're gonna play right now. Oops. What's this? Is this right? This is wrong. Okay. Can we move that out of the way? Move. Okay. Okay, let's play. Dumb. Let's play some Blitz. Oh, monthly Super Blitz Arena coming up. That actually seems pretty fun. You don't think I have 10 seconds delay? Yeah, maybe not. But I mean, to throw me out of the arena, because I literally respond. I go, I don't know how to do it on YouTube Live. And then they throw me out. Without a second warning, I mean... Oh well. We're gonna play here. Depana subbed with Prime, thank you so much. well, first of all, let's play another Von Hennig. But second of all, let me edit on the stream description. Alright, maybe we'll play the late title Tuesday. We'll give it a shot. I might have to ban you guys from anything other than emotes. I am very pro... Oh, this is nice. This is nice. This is a nice one. I am very pro... I'm very pro anti-cheating measures. I think it's extremely important. I am pretty much as far in that direction as it gets. And yet, this is a ridiculous policy. Alright, we've edited the stream there. Bishop e6 is the only move to not get checkmated. What's the reason for playing the Von Hennig with the 2 knight c3 move order? Great question. There is no difference, actually, as far as I understand. If you're a Caro-Kann player, I think you're pre-moving d5 regardless. I can't imagine playing anything else on move 2. There's no reason other than sometimes I mix it up. Sometimes, like, my mouse or cursor is already here in case of c5, so I do that. d7. As far as I understand it, the best idea is actually to come back with this knight. Very valuable. You don't want a pawn to end up right here. Is to come back with this knight and then jump in knight g5, which is actually really brutal. No easy way to deal with that. If e5, knight slips in there regardless. I'm pretty sure Eric Rosen doesn't have emote only nor delay. Yeah, so what the heck? That's also my understanding. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Like, I reloaded the page and it wouldn't load. Other pages of chess.com would load and said, please wait 30 minutes. And I've never seen that before. This is an incredibly strong piece. Stops castling in both directions. My opponent playing pretty reasonably here. What I want to do is run the queen out of square. So knight a4. I guess here, c3 to defend the knight. Queen d6 helps them. This move threatens to trap their queen. Actually, it's very sneaky. It is brutally sneaky, but he takes d4, right? Because my knight does one more thing, stopping queen takes. Just an absolute octopus of a piece. Now the queen is trapped. These are their only squares. Both of them get forked. It's kind of brutal. Players that play e5 as black scare me. I feel like there's so much theory to know. So, well, you could play a Goring Gambit, which works quite effectively at all levels, which I would recommend. I mean, you can also just play something not super like okay, if you're playing knight f3 and bishop b5 or something like this, then you're asking for that. But you want to do something special, you want to play your Ponziani, you want to play your Danish or Goring, you want to play a King's Gambit even. Okay, you can know more theory than them. Yeah, this is a pretty wild queen trap. I mean, I don't even know what I would recommend for black in this position. c5, right? c5 to open this, attack my knight. c5, I would play d5. And then they still have kind of the same issue. Knight takes d5, knight takes d5, queen takes e6. Doesn't even work. Knight c7. The other knight jumps in there to fork. I'll talk about this opening a little bit, right? So they're trying to get the bishop out before they play e6 so that the bishop could be out defending their king. The issue for them is bishop g4 and e5 is a really nice move, threatening to take the bishop if they play e6, and threatening to take their king if they take my queen. So they had to come back bishop e6, only way to defend both. Now with f takes e6, it's a brutal capture. So castles, knight d7, challenging this very strong knight. Otherwise, okay, I was going to take f6, queen h5 check or something like this, take it somehow. But now my knight just comes back around. Hit comes to g5, hitting e6, which is now really, really soft because of this awkward setup. Knight lands in there, and now we've trapped the queen very nicely. King f7. Okay, we can take on b6 now, tempo on the rook. I can come check, but also come here, queen e2. And now they'll probably swap places to come into f7 for a nice little checkmate. I mean, okay, a lot of things are very good here. Takes, king takes, queen takes e7 for 1. Knight c7, queen e6, rook e1 for 2. Alright, let's do it. Here, that's mate, and that's mate. Don't think you can stop both. So, okay, there's the monthly Blitz Arena coming up on Lead Chess, which I'd actually really like to play. I think that would be very, very cool. But this was a nice game. This was a nice game here. Yeah, brutal stuff when they play bishop g4, knight e5. It's a really nice move. I know the engine's top recommendation, actually, is bishop takes f7 check, king takes knight e5 check. No, it's check, so they don't have this option. Okay, here, now we're even on pawns, and their position is a disaster, and they can't castle again. But okay, even better. I mean, this is, like, how could you not play this move? Sometimes my opponents even will play, like, bishop h5, defending the bishop and also defending f7, right? But then you just play queen takes. This is still checkmate. It's still checkmate. So, yeah, I don't know. I've gotten this a number of times. Let's see. Player. Oh, that's not my name. That's my name. What we got? Oh, I've only gotten this 2 other times. Okay. Well, at least I've won them. Knight e5. Okay, bishop e6. Takes castles. Knight d7. Yeah, that's a nice idea. Knight f3. I think this is best. e6. d2. I mean, it's a cute move. It's a very cute move, right? I mean, what a brutal trap we just set up. What a brutal trap. That's wild. Yeah, only squares and then knight here. Yeah, knights on e6 are just so strong, and somehow we get them all the time in Von Hennig's. So strong. I mean, stops castling in both directions, and then just a number of other threats. Okay, let's go back to this arena. Oh, okay, I've asked Eric. He has permission from chess.com, and they have something coded by chess.com so they can see his screen during the whole tournament. And chat is hidden during games, of course, for him. Okay. I mean, my claim wasn't really that I was targeted unfairly. Just that, A, it's dumb policy, and B, maybe like a warning that you'll be thrown out. If not, would have been appreciated. Like, okay, I guess it's my fault because they wrote asking me to do it. And I said, I don't know how to do it on YouTube Live, which is true. They typed the Twitch command for me. Okay, I won. It's just, I can't imagine that even 0.1% of Title Tuesday cheaters come from that way. So, like, it gives the illusion that they have stronger anti-cheating measures, because it's something, I guess, very identifiable, very visible, because these are literally the people that are streaming. But, like, come on. Alright, it's been too long since I played one of these, right? I've been going to the Great Banco every time. Oh, you can't do it on YouTube Live, so it's not just that I'm technologically challenged. Okay, I don't know what they want from me then. And they just, like, I'm literally streaming on their platform, which I rarely do, and gives them publicity, I guess. They can literally see what the chat is, that there's no suggestions there. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. Okay. Well, we got our Gambit glasses on here. My opponent really tried to decline, playing this super solid setup. All right, so our main stuff goes with bishop f4, and we play f6. E takes f6, queen takes f6. So if they try to defend this pawn, we are attacking this stuff. Bishop b4, check, castles. Lots of fun stuff there. In the game, they're just playing e3, offering me the e5 pawn back, but okay, we get our Gambit glasses on, trading on d6. I need to blow my nose. Let's go queen. I actually wanted either of these squares, but okay, I'm really inviting this. I want to castle long. It's hard to make this happen. Queen f6. Let's go here. I think if an 84, I check. It's gonna just take b2 even. Rook b1. I'm actually not sure it was so smart. Okay, well, don't have much of a choice here. I really wanted to get a rook there quick. Okay, queen b2. What was my idea? Rook b1. Why did I think this was good? Queen a3. Okay, wait. Maybe this is smart. Queen on g6. Eyes this and potentially that. For example, if just trade and then knight moves. My knight gets in here. So we'll take this one. Oh, they have check. Okay, if they keep playing this very smartly. Check drives me back. So chat is hidden for him during the games. Victor Simarico, thanks so much for the subscription. Cheaters will be using Stockfish, not their 600 ELO chat. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to be rude to you guys, but I think that's correct. No, of course you guys are by and large stronger than this. And okay, for all I know, you guys are following along to the video, putting it in on your computer into Stockfish, and then typing those moves into chat all in real time for me to look over and then play it. Okay, this is a fun thing to do potentially against the Budapest declined. So we play our e5, knight g4, knight f3, knight c6, targeting the e5 pawn. Bishop f4 is the main move. And then, okay, if you want to follow main lines here, it's with like check or here, right, targeting f2, and then you play queen e7, and okay, then you can get this pawn back if you're lucky, and then you'll get some sort of position. Budapest Gambit, for that reason, is barely a gambit. However, you can also play the Grafe Budapest Gambit of this move f6 here. And it's an idea we use in the Von Popiel and in a couple other things. When the bishop comes out to f4, we try to bring a queen to f6. So we play our f6. Now again, right, threatening to take this, so they should capture. Queen takes f6, hitting the bishop, and the b2 pawn. And okay, there's a lot of fun lines here with check, castles, and sacrificing. Whoa, my arrows are all over the place. Sacrificing a second pawn even with d5. Knight comes in, rook comes in. Lines are covered on my channel. Full repertoire video there. My opponent plays just the simple move e3. Okay, now it's like, what do I do with this knight? If it's hit, then yeah, I gotta take it. Bishop e2 and castles, so they just want to be solid like this. But d6, I give them an opportunity to stay up a pawn, and they do with takes, bishop takes d6. So, of course, the engine is not a huge fan of me playing d6 instead of grabbing my pawn back. Bishop e2. What could I play here? If I start with queen f6, then maybe I don't have to deal with this, yeah? Or wants me to just castle. Okay, like, the position I wanted was something like this, where my rook would get here. We almost had this during the game. Threatening bishop takes h2 check, with the rook winning it. Here, queen h6, we can shift over. h3, e5. Okay. I don't know, maybe an e5 first. Often they'll play h3, though, at some moment, yeah? Like h3 here. Now an e5. Now imagine they castle. Castle's here. Putting these threats on the table. Queen c2. Okay, I mean, we can win. Come into h2. So they gotta do this when we take it. Okay. So this makes a certain degree of sense to play like this. Bishop e6, queen f6. Yeah, so an e4 was a good try. Forking here and here. We go check, queen g6. They do everything right, but they must find this move, queen to a4 check, to drive my knight back. Otherwise, yeah, not clear what they do with this knight, and the knight comes into c2. If they're able to do this, then this is a good move as well. And okay, I should just castles and be down a pawn. In the game, they just play rook c1 to cover c2, and I just... Oh, they resigned before I could even make a move. Take e4. So, okay. Well, we got them here with this gambit. We got them here with this gambit. Let me also edit my Twitch description here. Oh, I'm not even logged in. Can I edit it from here? Oh, wait. Alright, let's just keep it like this then. Let's go. We've got an Alpin Gambit on the board. Best move here is c5. Realizing the knight's actually not under attack, and they have check. Similar attack that we got, if we're able to pull that off. Let's play 3 so that I don't have to deal with any of this. Bishop is too valuable. Why don't I castle queenside? I could. Should player c4 even? If they're trying to go long? Okay, let's actually... Yeah, potentially. You can, but the thing is, my favorite idea here, if they castle, it's a good question, is queen e1 and queen h4. And for that, my rook should be on f1, trying to eliminate this knight to checkmate them on h7. So that's why I castle kingside. But castle queenside is also valid. Is valid. Here I kind of missed knight g4. Kind of missed it. I think now, though, I'll go here. If I play d5, takes. I'm not sure this idea was so good. c4. I deprived myself of maybe something much stronger. Okay, oh well. This seems like a good idea. Okay, we'll just come back. Try to play d5. Because now, okay, d5 takes. I don't know where your knight goes. That's my point. Knight a5 before I trap it. Otherwise, it has to go up to the 8th rank. Also, now in HE4, I could play bishop F4 with this pawn defended, unless they have, like, takes in here. Going here right away, but now just B4, I think. Okay, well, okay. And D5. That was the idea of C4, right? D4, D5. If they're not going this way, then we'll just attack that king right where it is, right in the middle. Take CD. Okay, back. Let's go. Check. Check C6. Let's go to E5. 80. Yeah, okay. You can't use this because too much pressure on F7. Thing is, they can castle short still. It is legal. It is legal, and, you know, I'm not set up to deal with that anymore. So, yeah, they switched plans, which is very smart, and for that reason, I probably should have gone check. D7, I think knight C6. I mean, it's fine. Takes, knight E5. I mean, some sort of achievement, but it's not, like, earth-shattering. D6 is what I wanted somehow. Just go here. D6 takes. Yes, I would win a piece. Because I would take 2 bishops, they take 1. Otherwise, takes and takes. So I'm threatening this. I am. You need to defend this bishop or block this. After which, yeah, so my pieces were all ready to get the king over here, but then they faked me out and went that way. Okay, well, my opponent is not stupid. They see this idea. Play here queen g2, maybe. Honestly, if I were black, I would just play like rook e8. Take, bishop f8, bishop g7. I think they should be fine. You could still make a useful move rather than like an overcorrection kind of move. And I'm not really sure what's going on here. I mean, okay, this should be a lot of compensation for the pawn. It's hard for black to move around. I don't know what their next couple moves are even. Whereas I can do pretty much anything. This is a target. I can prepare d6. Yeah, wow. Good choice. I mean, okay, if I just go here... I didn't think this did much of anything, but yeah, it gives them a square, right? Alright, well, no, now it's worse. You have to just check. It's worse now, isn't it? Step out of the way of that. Yeah, okay, they gave themselves a square. My opponent is not a bad player at all. If I sacrifice... They're really tempting me, but I'm just... My bishop is very poorly placed for it, first of all. And I just don't see it working. So... Could have been bothersome, but I stepped out of the way of all this stuff. Opponent, very, very solid player here. Interesting maneuver. we're gonna try to ignore that, actually. I'm getting a little impatient, and I want to start looking towards their king. So I'm gonna give them this pawn, and I was gonna play, like, knight. They don't want that. They're just trading off for my bishop. Okay. I wanted, like, knight f5. I probably should have just traded here. That was a good choice. Takes and c takes. Very precise. So... oh, there's rook takes e2. Or rook takes e3. Okay. Got some targets now. I feel like they had me if they did that a little bit better. h5 takes, I have. Check. I have no time here. I don't know where all my time went. Oh. H5. Yeah, I had a draw going back and forth. And h3 they can play here. Rook e1, I have to come back. Oh, no, let's check. There. Ooh, half a second. 0.5 seconds. 0.54. No, I mean, I think my opponent played very, very well. They kept stopping my ideas. It's very annoying. They kept stopping my ideas. Very good defense here. Like, really strong game from my opponent. I was very impressed. 1878. So knight f6 takes bishop d3, and we're able to transpose as if they played knight f6 to begin with, right? As if, like, this position is literally the exact same position we got in the game, except with just an extra move. Exact same position. So they play knight f6, right, to try to not give me this useful capture. But okay, I take and bishop d3, which induces a couple other mistakes often, like check. And here black will lose their knight owing to this pin. Bishop d6, just queen f3, threatening to take and defending the rook. So, you know, that's actually happened a number of times. Otherwise, if black's very smart, I can actually ignore this, because this is not a good trade. Check, and queen takes e4 they can play. So we should play your knight f3. Now the knight has to move for real. There's no more queen h4. In the game, knight f6 was played, knight f3, bishop e7, castles, and yeah, so I was noting my opponent didn't castle, which is actually very smart, because if they do that, then we have this, which I mentioned earlier on the stream. Queen e1, queen h4, using the fact there's no f2 pawn, so we have that route, and also no f2 pawn opens the rook. So something like b6 here, knight e5, all of a sudden we are threatening to win the game immediately by getting rid of this knight. Takes, and takes. If we get rid of a knight there, right, and the knight that can replace it, then we can just checkmate on h7. Otherwise, they play something like h6. We just take it, and we checkmate them anyway, with the rook coming around, for instance. Otherwise, they play something like g6 to cut that off. We just take and bishop g5 and win that, right? Something like this. And we're winning material here as soon as, like, that g7 pawn moves. Or we can just keep piling up with the attack. So the attack's very strong. The attack is very strong if they just castle right into that, as most people do. They need this bishop to be out and challenging here and taking that diagonal before we do. In the game, they play knight c6. Good move, looking at knight b4, so I stop that with a3. h6, I play your c4, which, okay, yeah, knight c3 stays a little bit more flexible, ready to attack where, no matter where the king goes. And it's hard to arrange a long castle if you're black. You need a few moves, and you need a few squares. d7, both pieces can't occupy that square. d6, okay, I'm going to attack you, right? So how do you get both these pieces out of the way? Well, you probably need to play b6, but then, yeah, nasty things happen, like knight e5 here, takes, d takes, knight moves. Okay, now I'm hitting f7, right? So you can't just escape so easily. You can't just escape so easily. Yeah, and the bishop on e3, like you could say, it's kind of a waste of a move because sometimes it goes here or here anyway, but it's very useful fighting against c5 and fighting against pressure on d4, so it's a really useful piece to have there. In the game, I play c4, looking at ideas of d5, opening it up, you know, if the king's around there. b6, okay. Yeah, like I was saying, we missed knight g4. Knight g4, and now, okay, they can attack d4, hitting this bishop here. So, okay, we both missed that. Knight c3. In the game now, bishop e2. Okay, wasn't the most brilliant. Bishop e2, I'm just trying to play d5. Right, because, for example, now queen d7, I just want to stop their idea of queen d7 and castles. Now we have this idea hitting this knight. Knight really has no squares. This gets trapped, right? So it has to go backwards. And I stopped their idea of castles, which is what I really wanted to do. Knight a5, b4, and ac6. So now we're able to here make a lot of progress. a5, yeah, the knight would have been very strong on f5. f5, very strong attacking piece if it's able to land there. Makes a lot of sense. In the game, e5, castles, bishop f3. Trying to play d6 was my big idea. d6, and so if takes, then I take b7. And if takes here, then I was trying to win material in these lines after d takes e7. But I wasn't able to do that. Knight g7 challenged the knight, and so queen takes d7 would make this come not with tempo. So knight c4, rook b8. They just kind of defended against all my stuff here. Bishop takes h6 was not working. Should be a lot of compensation still. They sneak out bishop a6 to induce b5 because of the pressure here. And now, okay, they at least have a square to operate from. They're just kind of moving around here. Yeah, I probably should have taken on a5 and just accepted the pressure here and some weak pawns. I was trying to get into f5, but this was a very good move before I can get into f5 and introduce some sacrificial possibilities. They play here bishop d6, forcing the trade. C takes d6, another smart move instead of queen takes, I think. So the knight lands in there, but now suddenly their pieces are not so bad, and it's with the trade dark square bishops, it's not clear where my threats are coming from. I don't have d6 as an option anymore. Bishop e2 is just really a blunder because rook takes e2 is possible, and they can get two pieces for the rook. But they play here knight c4, giving me kind of a way out here. Rook c5, yeah, again, I think like they could pile up here, maybe hit this knight, but rook c5, okay, they're looking at these pawns, not nearly as strong as this idea. Queen g3, now I make this knight useful. It had no dark square bishop friend, but okay, the queen is operating like that and more, targeting d6, g7, and h6 in this position when I was able to make that maneuver, so that was fortunate for me. Knight h5, hitting the queen and defending mate. Knight takes h6 was a blunder. King h7, and apparently they can just come all the way out and take this knight with no consequences. They're totally fine, yeah. I'm just kind of out of pieces. Here. Take another piece. Why not? Yeah. Tough. So, yeah, king h7 was possible. They play king h8, which is a huge difference, because now this is check. This is check. If the king were on h7, then this would be check in this position. So they'd be up a queen. They could take my queen with check. So king g8, queen g6, but now there's lots of checkmating ideas, and one of which you saw in the game. Here, I'm playing knight g5. This, okay, leads to mate, apparently, eventually. I play your knight g5, looking at, like, queen h7 and such. They have here check. What do they have next? Oh, queen h5. Very smart move to cover all these light squares around here. So that was the only thing they could have done to save the game. Instead, they play knight f6. I took it. Rook e1. It looked like that would work out for them. But rook e1, and I can come back to f1 instead of taking first. Okay, in which case, of course, I get checkmated. But rook f1, and the rook blends through to defend. Takes or takes, and then, yeah, I have a million mates on the board here, and queen e8 was one of them. And I played it with half a second left on my clock. Somehow I got away with that one and won that game. I probably didn't deserve to win because my opponent defended better than I attacked, certainly, for most of that game. Some interesting questions from chat. Why 9a3 over c3 and knight d2? Well, c3 and knight d2 is playable. I guess e5 is still a break. That's possible, number one. Number two, it's not as, like, better probably to play a3 and knight c3. Because I don't need the defense on d4 necessarily. Like, ordinarily you do that. A to defend b4, B to defend d4, but I don't really need the defense here, and I want my knight on a more aggressive post. You saw in some lines like knight b5 was an important resource, or d5 as a breakthrough, whereas with c3, knight d2, I don't need to play that solid in this position. I need to play a little bit more aggressive to try and punish the king no matter where they go. But otherwise, okay, it's an option, and it would make more sense, you know, if we were just kind of like in an equal pawn situation, kind of like a more normal situation. Of course, you see that setup sometimes out of like, I don't know, exchange caros, for instance, takes and bishop d3, c3. What about 12 c5 instead? Where's c5? Oh, here? c5, yeah, interesting. Interesting. I think part of the issue is they're still like knight g4 and they can take here. I guess... Yeah, the thing is queen takes d4 is check. It's checking all these lines, right? If my king were on h1, then I would have bishop b5 in this position winning their queen. And none of this would work. And c5 is a useful move to... I definitely understand the logic behind it. It's a useful move to like open this diagonal and get started on an attack on their king over there. But A, they're also not over there yet. But I like where your head's at for both these comments. C3 undefends the bishop. Yeah, that's why e5 came to mind. That's why e5 came to mind when the knight was here. E5 and defending the bishop here, so that could be an option for black. That's why I mentioned that. All right. Let's analyze this game from Title Tuesday that I meant to analyze. God, I hate this interface. Do you know what I'm gonna do? Okay, wait, it gave me so many brilliance. I was gonna copy and paste this into Lichess. Well, okay, let me set up here. There we go. Okay. This is the chess.com sized stream. E45. So I meant to talk. Where did I leave off here? Where did I leave off? I left off in this position. After pawn takes c6. I've been talking and thinking for a long time. Okay. Let me try that again. I'm going to stitch together takes. Okay. We left off in this position. I don't even know where I left off. Okay. Here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay. We left off in this position here. After knight takes c6, pawn takes c6, with the pawn defending its fellow pawn. In an interesting position here. Because white is kind of a blank slate. Not really clear how to develop. As these pieces have a few options. I've faced bishop g5 a couple times. Which looks like it makes a ton of sense, introducing the pin. But we have a good move here with queen to d6, getting out of the pin, and introducing ideas like knight to g4 as we look towards other targets, towards the enemy king. In the game, my opponent played probably a better move, which is bishop at f4. Okay, the engine maybe not a huge fan. I'm just going to turn on to actual analysis. The bishop on f4 shields the king from what is really going to be my next target. I was really planning like queen d6 and knight g4 and planning to attack h2 without the knight over here near the king to defend. Now d4 makes a lot of sense, and they're going to be able to trade off for my best piece. My bishop is not going to have either diagonal in that case. So here I really only have one option, because d4 is going to be, like, let's say, just go here, it's fine, but just d4, and I think I'm kind of out of compensation here, although the engine gives me something. I guess this bishop is just so bad. So, for me, compensation means opportunities to attack their king. So I'm playing here bishop to g4, because my knight's not going there now. Queen d2, and now rook e8. I like this move at knight h5 as an option as well, because of the ideas of just trading off for that bishop to try and take this diagonal. But okay, rook e8 makes a lot of sense, because rook e2 is a strong idea. In the game here, knight c3, and if I give white really just a couple more moves here, they're going to play d4, they're going to play f3. Now, as soon as they're able to, no pin there anymore. For example, let's say I just go a5. I think they just play d4. Bishop moves. They play f3. This bishop moves as well. Now they play something like rook e1. Okay, a5 was actually a useful move because I was threatening to trap this bishop. But, they deal with this somehow. And then I'm kind of out of ideas a little bit. Although, in all these lines, I still have some comp because this piece is actually very, very bad. But rook e8 is interesting. So I'm threatening rook e2, right? So knight c3. And now I'm immediately keeping the pressure with this move d4. And they actually had this nice option 84, which I didn't really see. Takes, rook takes, and f3. The line continues here. I'm actually not losing a piece because of rook e2. Really nasty move. If you take it, this is check. I mean, I have the benefit of looking at the engine right now. So they gotta go here. Now I can move the bishop. And okay, I'm not losing material. You still can't take my rook. But you can trade off for it. You can trade off for it. Otherwise, next move is queen e7, I guess. You can trade off for this rook. And white here is a little bit better. Now, you know, I've played d5, right? So I've freed this. And so they're doing okay here. Yeah, I was saying during the game, interesting is bishop b4, trying to play d4. And if they play d4 themselves, now, okay, now I have access to the square with a pin, and things are looking good. So my threats aren't actually really at their king, but it's kind of really bothersome. They're just awkward development, and the pieces kind of tripping over each other a little bit. Okay, f3 they can play now without this issue, so they should be actually relatively okay. d4, okay, knight a4 wasn't a bad choice, but it was kind of a greedy choice. Knight e4, I guess, is much more practical. In the game, so rook e2, queen c1. Like I said, it's still plus 0.8 here, so rook e2... I was saying during the game, this is better than it looks. Or it's not as good as it looks, rather. Okay, my bishop is hit right now. It really has nothing better to do than go to d6 and offer to trade itself. Because, you know, what's it going to do in e7 or here? This bishop here is defending this side of the board. My opponent plays actually another good move here, which is c3. So they're playing very precise, clinging onto their extra pawn, trying to make this trade and activate their queen this way. And still trying to bundle up around their king. But the thing is, it's only a matter of time before they crack. You just need to keep up the pressure. And even though these moves aren't super duper precise, it just makes sense based off of vibe. So knight h5 we play. They take d6. Again, this is correct, and their advantage keeps growing here. But now they're actually in a situation where they only have one move. Their move value is extremely high. The top move is plus 1.5. The second best move is minus 0.7. You wouldn't really know it, but yeah, the position is very critical because I have very strong ideas like knight f4 and bishop f3 like you saw in the game, and just checkmating them right there. They needed this one move, queen to g5, which makes a lot of sense in retrospect. I mean, you're defending here, you're stopping queen g6, you're attacking all these pieces, and suddenly my pieces are tripping over one another, and my only move is knight f6. And okay, they can play queen c5 and try to get these queens off the board. Yeah, queen g5... not obvious. I can try this. Takes knight f4. It's probably worth a shot. Threatening this. Otherwise, but yeah, king h1. Takes d3. Trying to take here. Should run out of steam if they're able to successfully defend this. I think queen g3 is most logical. But okay, I have this move. Interesting. So, in the game, yeah, queen g5. But we keep up the pressure, They're never going to play the best move every single time. Or if they do, okay, they were going to beat you anyway. But, yeah. Keep up the pressure. Finally, my opponent cracks. They play bishop to d1, which looks very, very logical. You hit the rook, and it looks like you're winning some material there. But I have a great move here, which is knight f4, which is what I wanted to play anyway. Knight f4, but I look like a genius now. Because knight takes e2 check, and I win their queen. But the position is already really dire for white, actually. I got my first brilliant of the game there. With this move knight f4. It gave me 2 exclams. Can I get those animations, please? May I? Interface. Show move classification on board. There we go. Knight f4. Yeah, looks very nice. Now the pressure on g2 overwhelms. We have a knight there, which is the Kasparov attacking knight, if you will. Pressuring g2. And yeah, lots of ideas. We've switched from a dark square to attack to a light square attack. The bishop comes into f3, queen comes into g6, and checkmate to follow. So they play here. Not obvious what to do. C takes d4. I guess king h1 delayed the inevitable a little bit. But yeah, I mean, at minimum, I can just keep taking stuff. Bishop h3 also, a very nice move. Threatening to take g2. If they take, check and here. Not immediately to g6 because f4 is hanging. But check and here, coming to g2. Rook g1, rook e1, filthy, and then queen g2 next turn, and then queen g2 next turn, even if the rook is still there, queen g2 next turn with the pin. Nice. Wow. So, in the game, c takes d4 was played, but now bishop f3, yeah. And another couple exclams for William with this move, bishop to f3. Yeah, really, queen g6 is coming next. If they take it, it comes with check, even better. Not just a checkmate threat, but check. And otherwise, if you can induce g3 at any moment, that is checkmate, now that the bishop controls h1. So bishop f3, just a brutal move, and they just don't have resources to come. The engine recommending here, queen takes f4 and just giving the queen. In the game, h3, which was a really smart move to keep fighting, Really smart move to keep fighting. So we play here queen g6, g3. Their point with h3 is they're just like offering that pawn just to give themselves a square in this line. Oh, I don't know why I didn't play this. Takes and mate. I should have played it like this. I should have played it like this with the rook controlling there and the bishop controlling there. That is a nice one. Ah, alas. I played here and it gave me a miss. Even though it's still checkmating. Which is fair. That's fair. That's a fair criticism. That's brutal. Here in queen h5. Okay, I got 2 more exclaims. So then now any knight move and queen h1 next turn, for example, takes. Knight out and queen h1. Or even queen c5 hitting the base of the discovered can often be good, but I can shield that and queen h1. So they play your g4 just to delay that a little bit. You're right. Also trying to maybe get their king to g3 to anything to extend the game. But just queen takes g4. Okay, and I can get into g2. They don't even have rook g1 in this position because I can checkmate them. So going to the knight there. Yeah. They're playing kind of without all these pieces. They're playing without all these pieces. I mean, they were up the pawn. They played c3, cd4, but it was a little slow, and they missed their one key defensive resource, queen g5, to keep them in the game. Otherwise, yeah, this is why we gambit. Love this line. Love this line. Force them to take this pawn. And yeah, at this point, I've got quite a compilation here. There's no way out of the Bushcast gambit. There's no way out. All right, y'all. I'm pretty exhausted now, so I'm probably going to sign off. But I might sign on for the next Tale Tuesday, and hopefully we won't get booted from that one. All right, y'all. Subscribe, and check out, right? You're already here. Check out the link tree. Full repertoire breakdown of all these gambits, including the ones especially including the ones we play here on stream, that you can learn how to play. Very first video in each of these playlists are just a full repertoire breakdown, like a Chessable course, but for free. And then, okay, you can see the ideas as I post videos of me playing them. But yeah, thanks so much, y'all. And then join the Discord here. Awesome community on Discord where we share games, discuss opening ideas, and more. And you get notified when I go live and post new videos.